Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today what we're going to do is we're going to go over the Team Affinity Program Face of the Franchise cards in the AL West, and we're going to rank them 1 through 5. The criteria for this ranking is going to be the comparison of the 5 cards within the division. We're not going to compare them to other cards outside of the division for the Face of the Franchise cards. Some other requirements that I look at when I'm making this list is going to be what's their utility and flexibility throughout your team. So can they play multiple positions? If they are a position player, how good is their swing? Do they have a glitchy type of swing? Do they possibly play above their attributes from playing games with them? As well as if there is a pitcher, how good of a pitcher they are, what their per nines are. Also, for someone like Shohei Ohtani, which is in this division, how good of a hitter he is can also factor into how good of a card he can be or cannot be. With the 5th pick in this division, which is going to be from the Seattle Mariners, and the Face of the Franchise card is Kyle Seager. Now, you look at this card, and this card's a very good card. It has diamond hitting. He bats left-handed, throws right-handed. Obviously, he's a third baseman. Obviously, can't be a lefty playing in the infield outside of first base. He does have a secondary position of first base. However, his secondary position in this division isn't that great, and we'll get to that later of why I think that for the 5 cards within this division, the secondary position of first base doesn't really matter that much. Although it does allow some flexibility for within your team if you don't have a decent first baseman. He does play above what his attributes look like, although he does have pretty good attributes with 68 contact versus righty, 70 contact versus lefty. So for a left-handed batter, he actually hits lefty on lefty better than against right-handed pitching, which is kind of unique. He does have vision that's over 80, and I think that about 75 to 80 vision is kind of a requirement when you're playing on higher difficulties. His fielding is pretty good. He does not have the best arm strength for a third baseman at only 64, but his reaction is 85, which is very sufficient. And obviously he's a third baseman, so he's not the fastest runner. Traditionally, third basemen are not very fast at only 40 speed. He's not going to steal you too many bases. He's not going to leg out too many triples, and he might have some trouble in the game, the way the game's playing right now, at getting doubles. Now, for his quirks, or bomber, walker, quick reflexes, and sniper. The quick reflexes will help with him at third base, making some diving plays, making some of those plays on those perfect grounders that everybody loves lining out with. The bomber will allow him to hit a couple more home runs, and the walker will allow him for better check swinging. Now, I do really like this Kyle Seager card, and I understand that some people might not agree with me that he's at 5th place for his division. However, this division is hefty with a lot of talent for these cards. I think this might be one of the best divisions for Face of the Franchise cards. He does play above his attributes. Some people swear by him. I think his swings, if we're just going based off a swing, his swing's not the best swing, but he has a very good swing. I just think there's other cards in this division that are better than what this card is. That being said, we're going to move on to number 4. Number 4 in the AL West is Carlos Correa. So Carlos Correa is a shortstop, can also play second base and third base, diamond hitting, diamond defense. He has a very good power against right-handed pitching. And he has better contact against left-handed pitching, which makes his card kind of unique. This is kind of like a boost-up version of his Live Series card. A lot of these Face of the Franchise cards are. He has tremendous arm strength for a shortstop and pretty decent reaction. At 63 speed, he doesn't have the best range just because of his speed. And the 74 reaction doesn't make up for his lack of speed that much. However, it does allow him to get to some balls he might not have. And if he does get deep in the hole, he does have a cannon to throw people out. I will say that if you're going to play this card, something to look at, maybe putting him at third base because he does have a huge arm and good reaction time, and even though he's not the fastest. I'm not sure how much his fielding gets affected by playing third base or doesn't. However, I will say that with his big arm, he could be a good option at third base, which I think bumps him up. And this is why Kyle Seager was 5th and he's 4th, is I think that Correa might be a better option at third base than Seager is defensively, and I think they're going to give you about the same thing hitting. If we're being honest, Seager's vision's a little bit higher than Correa's, but I don't think Correa's vision at 67 is too big of a deal unless you're getting up into Legend and Hall of Fame difficulty. So if you're playing All-Star below or playing against a computer, I think this Correa card is actually going to be better than Seager by a lot, just at third base itself. We're going to go over his quirks real quick. His quirks are hitting machine, bomber, walker, cannon, sniper, pressure cooker. You'll see with some of these face of the franchise cards, they don't have the most quirks. However, Correa does have quite a few. He has, I think, the important ones of walker, bomber, and hitting machine. He also has the cannon and sniper, so his arm's going to be accurate, and he has a huge arm, as we already mentioned. I think this is a very viable, good card. Somebody that I would look into picking up if you want some of that flexibility to play the pretty much all over the infield except for first base. But for the AL West, he ranks in at number 4. So at number 3, we have Joey Gallo. Now, you would think that maybe Joey Gallo doesn't deserve to be number 3 after looking at the other 2 cards. However, this Joey Gallo card offers probably the most power in the video game at this point in time, with 112 and 114 against right and left-handed pitching, respectively. He does have very low vision, which means he could be a liability at higher difficulties, especially at Legend. I'm sure he's very hard to hit with. However, with all that power, especially at lower levels, which a lot of the people that are looking at these cards aren't necessarily the elite players that are playing at the World Series or Championship Series levels, where he might not be as much of a viable card. When you're playing at All-Star below, this Joey Gallo mashes. You touch the ball and it might go 400 feet. That's just how it is. He has amazing fielding for an outfielder. Obviously, this card he's playing right field. In real life, he plays a lot more left field, so I was kind of curious why they made him a right fielder. However, he can play all over the outfield, can play third base and first base. This is another card, and this is why Seager was 5th on this list. This is another card that plays third base that might actually be a better option defensively than Kyle Seager is, and he's going to give you a lot of power, especially at the lower difficulties. Joey Gallo has diamond fielding, and this is some of the best fielding you'll see in a card at this point in the game. Especially with his arm in the outfield, I wouldn't run on him wherever you're going to put him. He has 64 speed, so he's not the fastest outfielder, but I think in the corners of the outfield, 64 speeds, more than sufficient. He also has 85 reaction, so playing third base or playing the outfield, and the outfield's going to get a pretty decent jump, which makes up for his lack of speed. And for third base, he's going to have that reactionary time to make plays, make those diving plays, knock the ball down. And then if he knocks it down with the 99 arm strength and 97 accuracy, that's just big time for a defensive player, plus all that power. Go over his quirks. His quirks are bomber, walker, quick reflexes, which once again will help at third base, cannon, and sniper. So very similar quirks to what we saw in Correa. Anyways, he has bomber and walker, I think, are both very important. Obviously, he's going to have bomber with that 110 plus power from each side. Like I said, the only downside of this Joey Gallo card and why he ranks in at 3rd and not possibly 1 or 2 is just his vision at 25 or at 28. His vision at 28 just makes him a liability. Although I do think he could be even used as a late game sub, even on better teams if you want a defensive option and maybe a guy that you might need to hit a home run late in the game. Could be an option because if you do put the bat on the ball, it's going to go a long way, even with the low contact and vision with a small PCI. That being said, he's in at number 3 on this list for the AL West. Now we're at number 2 for the AL West, Shohei Ohtani. So this card's the first pitcher, obviously in this division, and one of the few pitchers in the face of the franchise cards overall. However, for this card, he comes in at number 2 in the AL West. As you can see, his per 9s are not the best for base on balls per 9 or home runs per 9, but he does have a high K per 9, pretty high hit per 9 at 84, decent stamina. He has great break and velocity. You can see he is a 4-pitch pitcher, 4-seam fastball, slider, splitter, and curveball. In this sense, his splitter actually doesn't move that much for me pitching with him. But it is kind of results in it being more of a changeup effect. at 88 miles an hour. I will say his slider and his curveball have a huge amount of movement. His curveball is more of a 12-6 curveball than a traditional curveball, and his slider's a very slow slider, almost like a slurve without as much sideways break. It kind of breaks like a little bit faster, less up and down curveball when you're pitching with him, just so you guys know. He has great pitch speed, 98 miles an hour. He's going to tickle 100 every once in a while. I really like pitching with this card. He has a very easy wind up to pitch with, and then it's almost like him pitching from the stretch with a little bit elongated. I personally really enjoy pitching with this card. His control can be a little bit of an issue, especially at higher difficulties, so that's something to look into. He will hang his pitches every once in a while. However, what makes him a little bit more valuable, and why he comes in at number 2 over Gallo, even though you could argue that Gallo might be a little bit better, is because he also can hit. And for a pitcher that can hit at a clip of a normal hitter that almost has the same stats as some of the other guys in this list, you have to factor him in that you're getting a ninth batter whenever you're pitching him, which allows him to be a little bit better. Also, a lot of players, and some of the strategy is to maybe use 4 guys in your rotation when you're playing and use more of a starter as a long reliever. Ohtani can actually come in, pinch hit, and then go and pitch and be halfway decent. Or you can use him, just as a pinch hitter in general, so you're getting an extra pinch hitter at least against right-handed pitching, as well as you could warm him up in the bullpen, bring him in when you know your pitcher's about to hit, and then have him bat anyway without having to use one of your bench players. If it's going to be a longer game, he obviously can pitch for a while too, being that he is a starter. His quirks are going to be pitching based. They're not going to be hitting based because it's a starting pitching card. However, he has cannon, stingy, untouchable, cheesy, and knee buckler. I believe that the knee buckler allows his pitches to really break a lot. Obviously, the cheesy and stingy are important for a pitcher, especially limiting base hits. Like I said, I really enjoy this card. I think that this card plays really, really well. You just might have some trouble with keeping the ball, him being accurate, keeping the ball from sailing on you, or maybe missing your spot and hanging a pitch where it doesn't need to be hung and getting hit pretty hard. But that's more of a user input thing, not the card itself. All right, coming in at first on our list is Matt Olson of the Oakland Athletics. He plays first base, can also play right field for you. This card, I understand, he has a much better split right-handed pitching compared to left-handed pitching, with contact 82, 104 against righties. And then his contact and lefty powers, 57 and 90. His vision's only 58. He has 95 fielding and 94 reaction, so he's pretty much a vacuum cleaner at first base. He has gold defense, but I think that has to do with more of his throwing than his actual fielding. So I'm not sure why they gave him gold defense. He obviously has diamond hitting. This card, the reason he ranks number 1 is I understand his attributes do not look ridiculous. I get it. However, he plays way, way, way above his attributes from playing with him. As well as he still hits left-handed pitching, and he seems to just have one of those swings that when you connect with the ball, it likes to go far. And his PCI, there's a lot of right-handed pitchers right now in the game. Everyone's throwing Corey Kluber. A lot of people have Alex Reyes, the future stars Alex Reyes. People like to throw Greg Maddux. There's a lot of right-handed pitchers in the game right now, so you're not seeing a lot of lefties. So this state in the game right now, this Matt Olson is pretty much a full-time guy. He's not just a platoon first baseman. And he just hits the ball hard. Even against lefties, I've had a lot of success with him. I love his swing. I love the player. He makes a lot of plays at first base that like Todd Helton. I also have Todd Helton. Like the Todd Helton first inning program misses. Matt Olson just gets it with ease because of his fielding and reaction. That being said, we'll look at his quirks. His quirks are bomber, soft hands, and quick reflexes. So even though he doesn't have diamond fielding, he has soft hands and quick reflexes, which I think makes up for... I don't even know why his gold fielding. His fielding is way above gold, in my personal opinion. Maybe it's because he can also play right field. So it does give you a little flexibility. I would never put him in the outfield. I leave him at first base, or at the very worst, if your team is just loaded and stacked and you're just looking to pick up a pinch hitter, this guy against right-handed pitching is going to be nasty for you. He also has bomber. Like I said, he touches the ball. He seems to hit home runs with it. Guys, that being said, that's the list of the top 5 players in the AL West for the face of the franchise, rated 1 through 5. So we'll do a quick recap here. At number 5, we got Kyle Seager. At number 4, we got Carlos Correa. Number 3, we have Joey Gallo. Number 2, we have Shohei Ohtani. At number 1, we got my man Matt Olson of the Oakland Athletics. 89 overall card. Anyways, leave comments if you guys maybe agree with the list, disagree with the list, or even want to just talk about it, discuss about the list. Maybe you guys would change some things around a little bit. And then also in the comments, let me know what you guys want to see next, which division you guys might want to see next out of these. Obviously, we're going to do all 6 divisions, but maybe you guys want to see one before the other. Let me know. Also, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a like so I know that you guys are liking the content. And you guys also know whenever I post a new video with a subscription. If you guys are enjoying the content and you want to see me live, you can watch me at twitch.tv/hopefulchewbacca. I stream Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at nighttime. That's Eastern Standard Time. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I will also probably be streaming. To know when I'm going live for those days, because the schedule varies based on life, I would follow me on Twitter at Hopeful1137. Also, my PSN, if you want to add me on PSN and have a conversation with me or hit me up with some suggestions or just want to maybe play a friendly, my PSN is Hopeful1137. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you're enjoying the content. You guys have a good day and be safe.